Welcome to Mary Walter Radio. How are you? How is everybody? I hope you're having a great start to your week. Thank you for joining me. Also, thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to the Wendy Bell Army. You guys are fantastic. Oh my gosh, you've given me such a boost on Rumble. I love, 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 love you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who subscribes on YouTube as well. Those of you who follow me on Getter, thank you. I do appreciate it. Of course, you can get the audio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. You just look for Mary Walter Radio on all the social media. Same thing on X as well. It's Mary Walter Radio. Big thank you to EB for doing all my graphics. He did the ad block for our guest, and to his son Zach. That is why I'm called the Queen, because that is what Zach calls me, and so Zach's my man. So that's why I use the Queen, because a couple people have asked me about that, and that is why. So our guest was here, and then he's gone, but he's coming back. So we will be speaking with Jim Verdi. Jim is the producer of the Dan Bongino Show, which is now the Vince Show. And he is also the author of the Dan Bongino Show Survival Guide. But one of his big hobbies, if you follow him on social media, I highly recommend it. JJ Verdi, that's where you'll find him. Every time he posts, he's posting pictures of food. He's always barbecuing. And my husband loves to barbecue, and I love a great steak barbecued. But neither one of us is very good at it. I think my husband lives in fear of undercooking meat, and so everything winds up being overcooked. And I love like doing shrimp on the skewers, on those types of things, and they always wind up overcooked. And we were away this weekend, and one of our friends is a CIA trained chef. She's really great, and she barbecued this amazing steak. I've got a whoop-de-doo in my hair here. My hair is wet. Sorry. Oh, look! I look like I got a point on the top of my head. That's just not air. It's still kind of there. But she cooked this phenomenal steak. It was so good. And you didn't even need a knife. It was so tender. And I thought that this was the perfect time to have Jim come on, because it is barbecue season. And if it kills me, I'm getting a good steak this year. Jim, welcome to Mary Walter Radio. How are you? Oh, can't hear you. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on. And he's an engineer, by the way. He's the producer. You think he'd know this. No? All right. Well, he works that out. Anyway, I'm going to let you work that out. I'm going to take you off screen. So it's just me. And then when he's ready, we'll bring him back. But as I was saying, so we went away. We were away last week. Remember, I did the show from up in the Adirondacks. And what we do is when our friends come up, each couple is responsible for making one dinner. And so the first night, my the woman, she's a great chef. She's really fantastic. She goes, "Oh, I have this strip steak. I don't even know. I know nothing about cuts of meat. I'm terrible." So she had this steak, and she made chimichurri sauce, and she wrapped the whole thing in foil, the steak and the sauce, and she wrapped it in foil. And it was just absolutely phenomenal. And that's why I've been after Jim to come on the show. Let me see if he's got it worked out here. You got it worked out? Nope, no audio. That's okay. It's more important that he gets Vince on the air every day. And I guess we can talk about that a little bit too, because of those of you who remember when I was in DC, Vince was my co-host on the morning show. And I always knew Vince was going to have his own show. I always knew Vince would have his own show. Okay. Scott says he likes his steak charred. That's disgusting. Rebecca's here. Bill is here. Hermit is here. Hermit Sal's here. Mike over on Rumble says, saw you first hosting for Wendy Bell. Thank you for joining me. I am back in for Wendy the first full week in August. I'm back in with Wendy. I'm back in for Wendy. Lexus, good evening, Mary. I've watched you filling in for Wendy. Thank you so much. Rob Dog, good evening, Patriots. Hit that Rumble. Thank you so much. Rob is amazing. Sal wants to know why my hair is pulled back, because I'm doing TV tomorrow morning at 6:30 and 7 on Newsmax. So I wash my hair and then I put it up in a bun and then I just have to take it down and it's nice and curly and wavy and I don't have to do anything with it. So it's wet. Lexus says, give Mary a thumbs up. Please do that. Please thumbs up. Please subscribe if you have not done. Goodies here. Wendy Bell, Radio Army. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Hermit Sal, shish kebab, medium to well done. Let's see. Skirt steaks are great. Let's see if Jim's back. He's looking pensively. Jim, are you there?
Okay, am I here? Can you hear
Yay,
me?
you're
Oh,
here.
my goodness.
Yay.
So sorry about that.
No worry. Wait, show us your
So,
shirt.
so here, oh, so this is,
That's awesome. Make brisket $1.97 a pound again.
so sorry when you said 7:15 and I'm like, okay, and then I realized, oh crap, I'm Central Time. So I've been
Yeah.
scrambling to quickly get ready for you. I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. It happens whenever I have a guest outside the time zone. I always put ET after it. ET,
I
ET. And
And I live my life on Eastern Time because whenever I have to book for the show or, because Vince is in DC, I have to live on Eastern Time. So I
right.
don't know. My head was not all there.
It's funny because whenever we're not in the Eastern time zone, I always keep my watch on Eastern time and it drives my husband absolutely bat crap crazy until he finally just takes my watch from me and then changes the time. So
Oh, great.
because
And
he's
then
like, you
you're
can't live on
confused.
East Coast time all the
Right.
time. But I can. So I was telling everyone that you are the producer for the Dan Bongino Show, which is now the Vince Show. Is it Vince Colonnese or just Vince?
It's the Vince Show.
Yeah, you can't say Colonnese. Nobody can spell it. So
Right.
that's good. Cogly and easy.
Yeah,
What?
right.
So now the Vince Show, and you are also. I had you on the podcast. I'm sure people recognize you from when you were on here when we had you on when you first put out the Dan Bongino Show Survival Guide, which
Yes.
was a lot of fun talking about that as well. That was a lot of fun.
Yes. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that very much, and I appreciate you very much for having me. That was wonderful.
Oh, I'm so happy you come on. I know you're so busy. This is so whenever you got to go, we'll go. But I personally have a ton of questions about barbing. Now, where did this passion come from? Because every time I see you and how many people are you cooking for? It looks like you're cooking for an army.
The problem is I usually overcook because I just want to cook, and whatever I do cook, I hand out to the neighbors or whatever, or invite a bunch of
Wow.
people over. Sometimes my wife even plans a party or so to do it. But it's funny you asked how it all started. It all started with needing light bulbs. How about yeah?
Okay.
So I'm at Home Depot. I had to just go get some light bulbs, and that's all I was there for. I had my bulbs, and I'm walking on the way out. And on the way out, I see this little like charbroil barrel smoker. It's like yay big. It's not real big at all, and it said last one $25. I was like, okay, why not? So bought it, put it in the car, and got it home, and then just started reading about different kinds of recipes. And I think the first thing I ever attempted to do was ribs, and they came out pretty decent. Just reading about how the different ways that different people do things. And then everybody wants to cook a brisket immediately when you're smoking. And,
Of course.
on this little bitty pit, you had to put the coals on one side and the meat on the other. So it wasn't a true smoking experience, but this is the learning experience on how to do it. And everybody wants to do a brisket. So you get a brisket, and then they're terrible when you first do them because you don't exactly, there's so many nuances to doing it correctly, and there's so much patience required in doing it correctly that until you master that patience and know what you're looking for, then you can start to do that kind of stuff correctly. And it took me a
So
long time.
my first experience with brisket, the first time I ever had it, I didn't know what it was. I was living in Fort Worth, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I lived there for 1 year, 2 months, and 3 days. And then this Jersey girl had to go back east. And my roommate down there who I was the bank teller at my bank because I knew nobody, and she's super nice. We wound up being in each other's weddings. We're still friends. But her parents, so she grew up in like the outskirts of Fort Worth. That was,
Hmm.
kind of, very, very flat,
Oh,
very dusty area, right?
love it out there. Yes.
And I went to her parents' house and they were all excited because they dig a pit
Yep.
and they cook brisket, and it had been cooking for like 14 hours or something
Hmm.
like that, and I had no idea what this thing was. And did you ever try that? I mean, doesn't the
I
how do
haven't
you
I
do
haven't tried that, but that's actually how barbecue got started in the first place. Mostly like in Mexico, and then well, actually, this was part of Mexico. So even in this area, I'm in Texas, in case nobody knows. So that's how it started. Was they would dig a pit, and then they still do this in Mexico and South Texas. They'll basically take the cow's head but they put the coals at the bottom, get them nice and hot, throw a grate down, put the cow's head in, and then cover it all up and put dirt on top and just let it smoke for a day and cook. And then when you take it out, it's barbacoa. It's the beef cheeks. They're some of the best meat you can have on a cow. And I mean, you can put anything down there. If they put a brisket down there, they put a brisket down there. But that's really the traditional way to do it and how it first started to be done until people started learning more about airflow and pits and you know getting the heat from coals to go through and go over the meat and out to vent out of the top, which you're basically kind of air cooking it at that point, and you're using the air and the smoke to flavor the meat as well as whatever seasoning you have on it.
I have so many questions. Gregory said, I thought that an easy bake oven would be involved.
No, definitely not. You can start out that way, actually. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's
Tim
actually,
says,
funny. It's a bit of the same concept because it's not a direct heat cooking. I mean, with the easy bake oven, you're using a light bulb to heat the inside.
right.
So actually, it's a nice little starter kit for kids to learn how to smoke meats.
Well, I did have an easy bake oven, and but that was back like when the light bulb was hot, and when the thing came out, every kid had third-degree burns, right?
Sure.
Because you touched
Yes.
it. So we all had third-degree burns. We learned at a very young age not to touch hot metal. And I don't know if I could ever put meat in that thing. I don't think it was ever big enough, like maybe the teeniest, tiniest
No.
little piece of meat. Tim Gloria says he met me on Wendy Bell Radio and you on Bongino. So that's where they know you from there. Herman says in Hawaii, Native Hawaiians cook pork and wild boar in covered
Yep.
pits.
That's exactly it. It's I would imagine the tradition goes back to even prehistoric levels, and there you have, and people on the Pacific Islanders are going to be very similar to what you have in Mexico, and they were, um, as far as when you're cooking and you use the same types of methods, even though they probably never would have known it, had we not advanced in technology and been able to travel to all these places. Although I would imagine, I mean, we've been traveling the globe so long that I could see that tradition being observed in the Hawaiian Islands and then taken over to the mainland and the continents to actually continue that process. I can't say which happened first, the chicken or the egg, if it happened there and they brought it to Hawaii, or if it happened in Hawaii over and brought it over here. But yes, definitely I can see this is a concept that many native people would have used to cook their meats.
I have so many questions. Okay. And then we get Gregory says Mary seems repulsed about barbacoa. Yeah, you talking about putting a pig head in the ground and then you're going to
No,
cook
no,
it,
no,
or the
cow,
cow had a cow.
cow.
Okay, okay, cow or pig. Just because it's a cow doesn't make it better for me. Okay, just because it's a cow, not a pig, doesn't make it better. I don't like when they have those like barbecues and they got the pig with the apple in his mouth. I can't. I cannot. I don't want my food looking at me. I cannot handle my food looking at me. I love meat. I just don't need to know where it comes from. Like we go to a farm in upstate New York when we're up there. And when you're pulling in, you see all the cows and the pigs, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to know.
Sorry. But
Sal wants to know if you can use solar energy for barbecuing. I don't think so, right?
I mean, you can, but the thing with smoking meats is you want to use wood to help flavor the meat. That and with solar, obviously, you're not going to get that. You absolutely can probably cook with solar. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, the sun is a very uh, powerful heat source. So yes, I would
Thank
imagine I would imagine you could cook that way, but you're just not going to get the flavors. It's not all in the it's not all in the seasonings that you put on it. It's actually in the smoke, and you know the wood, the type of wood you use is very important, and how the wood is seasoned. And by seasoned, what I mean is how long it's been cut down. Like you want to use something between 6 months and a year, particularly because it's still going to have a certain amount of moisture content in the wood, and that
Oh,
way,
okay.
as it's burning, you're
It's
still getting a little
steamy.
bit of moisture and steam in as it goes over the meat. So you're getting that. And then you also have a water pan in your smoker. Um, there's
So you're
so
talking
much
about a
to it.
smoke. Wait. So you're talking about smoke or not? Is that different than barbecuing, like in the traditional sense?
Smoking meat is more barbecuing. If you're doing burgers and steaks and stuff like that, that's more grilling.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So
So you've got
traditional
both
bar,
things going on though. So you got the barbecue thing going on and you got the smoker thing going on.
yes, I've got an
For
offset
your wife,
smoker.
your poor wife.
She doesn't even like to eat it. She only likes my turkey, but I don't know. But I can't win. But everybody else in the neighborhood likes it, so
Uh,
that works for me.
Yeah, I
Um,
wish you lived near me because everything you make looks so good. And you can follow Jim at JJ Verdi on social media, and he posts all this amazing looking food. It's just crazy. So you're basically just self-taught. You just experimented
mhm.
and how long did it take you to figure it out?
Well, not only that, so Texas, and of course I'm biased, but I'm also right. Texas has the best barbecue in the United States. And the reason I can say that is because when we do barbecue here, we make it so you don't need sauce. A lot of the other places that claim great barbecue, like Kansas City and Carolina and Georgia, they'll tell you about their sauce and this vinegar sauce. And it's like, I don't want to hear about sauce. You don't need sauce for Texas barbecue. You're going to, the meat will speak for itself. Um,
I
so it
like the
wasn't just,
sauce though. I like
well,
the sauce.
and Texas Monthly is a magazine here. It's a woke piece of garbage now. But anyway, every 4 years, they come out with the list, and it's the top 50 barbecue places in Texas. And I can vouch that it's a pretty legit list. There's been a few misses that I thought, why is this on there? But not many. And I will travel to these places all over the state, and I will talk to the people who cook the meat. Like I probably the most famous one here is Franklin Barbecue in Austin. With Aaron Franklin's been everywhere. He was a judge on Barbecue Pitmasters. He's a barbecue savant. And when you say how did you get started, so early on in my process, I went because my wife liked turkey, and I went to Franklin Barbecue, and he was there, and I said, "How do you do a turkey?" And he proceeded to give me a 20-minute dissertation on how to smoke a turkey. Like I didn't interrupt once. He just kept going and going, describing everything, describing the whole process, how to prepare it, what to put on it, where to place it in your smoker, the wood you should probably use, the heat that you're gonna um, cook it at, and then how you're gonna wrap it. And before you wrap, you have to put butter on it, and just everything. And after that conversation with him, I was just dead hooked that I was going to learn everything about everything. And um,
Okay.
I just, it's a passion now. I love doing it.
Yeah, it clearly is. And that's why I thought you'd be perfect to talk about this. So there was a question that went by here in the comments from Scott. how much what the animal eats makes the product taste better. And he said a lot of people pay a lot of money for some of it. And now Tax USA said West Virginia grass-fed beef only. I've made it.
I whatever the animal eats is a big deal. It definitely has the saying "you are what you eat" isn't a saying for no reason. It's because it's real. And if the animals are eating garbage, or if they're being fed processed foods, your quality of meat is not going to be good. Grass-fed beef is fantastic beef. And then, it also has to do with the breeding of the cattle or the pigs. And we have stock shows here, down one big one in Houston, one big one here in Fort Worth as well. And there's a lot of trading and people buy animals, and you want to breed the best with the best to get the best product. And that's why there's different selections of meat. Now, the good thing about barbecue, especially on beef, and the reason brisket became a popular cut to barbecue is because it was a cheap piece of meat that nobody really wanted and nobody knew what to do with. And then somebody figured out, hey, you smoke this thing. Not only are you going to get the flavor of the smoke and just use the traditional Texas seasoning, especially for brisket, is just kosher salt and coarse ground black pepper. And that's all you put on it. I like to put garlic because I'm a little bit Italian. So I like to put that on there as well. But somebody figured out you take this and you smoke it, and then you get it to about an internal temperature of 203 degrees. Then you pull it off and let it rest, and you have this just unbelievable
Yeah.
dining experience with this brisket. And once that was figured out, then that's how it grew from there with the brisket. And they used the brisket as a cheap piece of meat. So you could take a choice brisket, which is or even a select, even though I wouldn't want to cook a select. Select is the lowest, and then you get choice, and then you get prime. And there's Angus in there somewhere, but that's a different type of cow necessarily. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but give me a prime any day, because your prime meats are going to have more fat striations throughout it, which is basically going to add more flavor to your meat.
Okay.
The less down, the more down you go from choice to select, the less fat you're going to have within the meat. So
Okay.
at that point, you may have to like add something in, like a beef, inject it with like a beef bouillon, or a Worcestershire mix with the beef bouillon, something like that, just to give it a little more
Okay.
flavor inside. But usually, like with a choice or a prime, you don't have to add anything. Just let it
Okay.
go.
So the moral is you buy the better cut of meat, because when I was a kid, my mother never went to the grocery store and bought chicken or beef or pork. We had a farm that my mother would go to and order half a cow, a
Nice.
pig, chicken. So I always just got out of the freezer. So it was so funny when I got married, my husband, to this day, I don't know how to buy any of that's like when it comes to beef, I have no idea. I have no clue. I hear about marbling and this and that. I just was never raised to know anything about it. You just went to the freezer and you picked it was always wrapped in the white butcher paper, and that was that. Same thing with like our hot dogs. The butcher made the hot dogs.
Nice.
So when I was a kid, I always wanted Oscar Mayer because everybody had Oscar Mayer. My mother was like, that's crap. Like she wouldn't have. So my knowledge about this stuff is very, very limited when it comes to all of this, when it comes to that part of buying meat. I want to just say here, right here, Rob Dog over on on Rumble says, being born and raised in Texas, I totally agree. Texas born, Texas bred. When I die, I'll be Texas dead. Do you have questions? Oh, hold on 1 second. No, he's fine. The other one was in here. She's gone. I've got cats roaming about, and I try to keep them from, jumping on the computer. And my husband, yes, the IT department has questions about barbecuing, don't you, honey? Grilling. Well, grilling. Yeah. He wants to know how to grill a steak. He just walked away from me.
Grilling.
Uh,
Go ahead.
my friend in Texas says that Texas Magazine should be renamed Texas Woke.
Yes, it definitely should. It's a huge bugaboo of mine, but I have to get the list edition every 4 years. So
So, well, one day you're going to be on it. Um, so my question, so is there a difference between barbecuing and grilling? And we know there's a difference smoking. So are there three categories we're talking about? Am I confusing grilling and barbecuing?
no, I mean, look, you can say the same thing, but real barbecue is smoking meat. That is what barbecue is.
Okay.
Grilling, you can say you're barbecuing if you're grilling meat, but it's grilling. It's just a different method. You're able the difference between grilling and barbecuing or smoking and slash smoking is when you smoke, you're going to smoke it at a low temperature for a long time uh, over with an indirect fire. Some people do it with direct fire. I don't like it like that because I think you have you take more of a chance that you can burn your meat or lose control of your cook. In case if the fire gets too high or too low, you're losing control of your cook at that time. If it's offset, where you're basically using convection to have air come in through your fire box, go
Goes
up
around.
into your pit, and then up out of the vent, that's easier. You're like I said, you're basically cooking with air and smoke at that point. That's the difference. With grilling, you can put it on at 350, 400 and be done with what you want in a matter of 20 minutes, which that is better for steaks or chicken breasts or chicken thighs, that kind of meat. But you can the I wouldn't smoke a steak. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I would rather grill a
Okay.
steak any
Gotcha.
day.
All right. Sal has a question that I want to get into. I want to take this step by step. So Sal wants to know, what is your opinion of beef jerky? Is that barbecued? That's just
It
air
is
dried fried, isn't it? Air.
it is barbecued to a point, and I have
Really?
a friend of mine who does that a lot. I don't know how to do it. I'll confess. I mean, I like it fine. It's not. It's just not something I'm really into. If I wanted to learn about it, I would definitely learn about it. But I have a friend who here that I used to work with at one radio entity that I worked for, and he's now made his whole business. It's what is it, Brockhouse jerky, and he does well. It's fantastic jerky. But yeah, you use a smoker in the same way, but you use it to really just kind of dry it out and take all the moisture out of the meat, and to get it to where it's the texture of what jerky is. You're not trying to make a soft, tender piece of meat at that point. You're
Of course, right,
right.
of course. If you're just joining us, my guest is Jim Verdi. You know him from the Dan Bongino Show, now the Vince Show,
Here,
and also the look at you, so handsome. Also the author of the Dan Bongino Show Survival Guide, and I expect a barbecue cookbook coming out soon. That's where I think this is going, because this is your passion. So, all right, so we talked about the meat and the cut of the meat, etc. And I don't think most people have smokers. I think most people throw stuff on the grill and they put barbecue sauce on it or whatever they do, which I know probably makes you cringe, but that's what they do. So, when it comes to seasoning, like, and I'm just going to get back to like the basic steak. If I'm just cooking a basic steak on the grill, what is the best thing to put on it? Salt, pepper, garlic, is that it?
Salt, pepper, garlic if you want, but salt and pepper is the standard for beef. That's all you really need. Um, and when you say most people don't have smokers, so the big trend nowadays is pellet
Is
smokers. So that's what people are
okay.
do. People who want to get into the smoking thing, um, they I get myself in trouble every time I talk about it, but I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. They're not smoking. It's not smoking meat. I'm sorry. You're basically just kind of grilling it. So the difference is with the pellet smokers, which are quite popular right now. Lots of
Okay.
people are getting those instead of gas grills. But you can take your pellets and then put them in this box, and you can set the your temperature gauge for whatever temperature you want to cook it at, and then walk away and leave it. until it's ready. It's not that way the way I smoke meat with my offset smoker, which is, we call them stick burners, which means they use logs basically. And so I have to constantly monitor the fire, and people don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, don't do that, but you're sacrificing a lot of flavor there by not doing that. Now with the pellets, the thing with the pellets is they are wood pellets, and they'll sell them as hickory or oak or mesquite or apple or whatever. But the problem is
Right. I've seen that. Yeah.
you have to know what you're buying, because a lot of these companies just take like 10% of that real wood that you want to use, and then they'll refill the rest with ash. So it's not true wood smoking. Yes, you're going to get
Right.
good flavor out of it. Yes, you're going to get a nice edible meal and your friends will love it, but it's not, it could be so much better. This is what I'm saying.
It's so funny because when we first started, when we first we were living in Trenton, outside of Trenton. I like to say West Trent, West, where do we call it? I forget what it was, but we never said Trenton. All right, and like, because it really wasn't Trenton, it was a Trenton mailing address, but close enough for people to think we live in Trenton. Anyway, we had just like this little, just like hibachi kettle thing. What was it? Ewing. Uh, we got like that little, like the little thing that, like the little Weber
Hmm.
thing, and hibachi. It
Yeah.
was like one step above a hibachi, right? And my husband was into the wood chips. We had the cherry chips, and we had the apple, just like you were talking about, Juliet. And we thought we were just the best grillers going, right? Like, and I heard you go, you're like, it's edible, right?
No, no, I'll tell you what, on something like that, Weber makes great products. They absolutely make fantastic products. I have a gas grill I've had going on 25 years now, and I still have the same original guts in it on a Weber gas grill. I love my Weber gas grill. It's fantastic. But when I want to do something really special, if I'm doing racks of ribs, or if I'm doing a pork loin, I don't know if you saw, I did pictures. I posted pictures. It was a braided pork tenderloin. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh no, I missed that one.
Where you
You
take
braided it?
you take a long pork tenderloin. I got it at Costco because they sell the real long ones. Then you cut two slits in it, and then you braid it like you braid hair or whatever, and you uh, you season it. You're like, well, why would you do
Dude.
that? Well, you're like, why would you do that? It's like, well, there's a couple of reasons. One is presentation; it looks pretty phenomenal. But secondly, because a pork loin has literally no fat in the middle of it, there's like no flavor. You have to introduce flavor. So when you do that and then you overlap and you've got your seasoning covering all that, you're going to get flavor in every single bite when you do that. And I
Well, let's
cooked my
talk.
first one, and it came out pretty awesome.
I'm gonna look for that. I'm gonna look for that. So let's talk about seasoning. People are talking about that. Bill wants to know, when you grill a steak, which I think a lot of people grill, obviously, do you ever marinate in wine? Do you use do you ever use a barbecue rub?
No, and I will say whatever you like best is the best for you. There's no complaints. Personally, when I do steaks, I put on Worcestershire sauce and then just salt and pepper and then and garlic, and that's it. That's all I do to my steaks, and that's the way I like them.
Yeah.
But if you like it with a certain rub that you like, and if you want to do it in wine, I bet that tastes delicious. I wouldn't be surprised. That's kind of the beauty of this thing, is there's no one perfect correct answer. It's, you could try them so many different ways and so experiment with so many different flavors, and that's why it's such a fun hobby.
Yeah. No, I see it. I know my husband is listening, and I fear that we're going to own a smoker soon. That's where I'm afraid this is going. It's getting very dark here. Let me turn a light on. Whoa. Okay. That's very bright. It's getting dark here. So okay, so talking about seasoning. I grew up where you took your steak and you threw it in a Ziploc bag with Italian dressing. Like, that's what I grew up with. That's
There's
just what you
nothing
did.
wrong with that at all.
So okay, rub versus sauce. If you had your druthers, you're not a sauce guy. Because I know different barbecue. Like you said, some of it's of the vinegar. Some Texas is the dry rub, though, correct?
Um, Yeah, I guess you would call it a dry rub. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of marinating going on at all. To tell you the truth, uh, I will take a turkey and I will take maybe even pork loins and I will put it in a brine. A turkey I like to brine for a few days actually, and in the brine mix it's just sugar, salt, and then whatever other seasonings that I want to put in there. And you put it make sure water is covering the whole thing and just let it sit in the fridge for a few days, and that introduces a really nice flavor. That's what I'll do to turkey because turkey's a very bland meat, so you have
It
to do a lot
is.
to it.
It is. It's a meat that screams for gravy.
Hmm.
Have you ever deep fried a turkey? Totally off the
I have,
subject, but have you ever deep fried?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is a Cajun, so it was kind of a requirement. I wasn't allowed into Louisiana unless I fried a turkey. So as a matter of fact, we used to have Thanksgiving at my house every year. So my wife's family would come in from Louisiana, and then my family, a lot of them live here. So we started out with my mom baking the turkey, and then I learned how to fry the turkey. So we did fried turkeys, and then it got to the point after I learned to smoke them that I would smoke one and fry one, and then I'd have other friends of mine want me to smoke their turkeys for Thanksgiving. So I was busy all day on
I was
Thanksgiving.
gonna say you set up a little side hustle there.
Yeah,
Uh,
basically
so,
paid for dinner.
oh, they paid you to do it. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. They should. They should pay you to do it. See? Rebecca thinks you resemble John Malkovich. I
So
can
here's
kind of see
another
it.
thing. Because I got my time zone wrong, I didn't have time to shave. So I know I look like a mess right now. I wanted to shave
See,
before I came on.
if you hadn't said that, no one would have known,
Um,
right? We would just have thought you're growing
a
a little
little
something there. Nobody
self-conscious.
would have known. Stag says the three hardest things to say are number one, I was wrong. Number two, I need help. And number three, Worcestershire sauce.
Absolutely correct. I still don't know how to say that. I can't.
Hermit wants to know, do you barbecue prime rib of roast, formerly called roast beef, like a prime rib of roast?
Um, I have done prime rib before. Um, my family made it. I hate to admit this. My family made me do it in the oven, though. They didn't want it smoked. I'm like, oh God, whatever. But yes,
Well, maybe
I have.
not everything has to be smoked.
It came out good. I will say that. But no, I want to smoke one too. I love doing prime rib. They make some great prime rib rubs, which makes it easier on you if you're going to do one. That way you can just coat it with that and not even have to think about it. That's the only time that and pork I will diverge on. I experiment with ribs a lot with different seasonings just to see how they'll come out. Um, what else? Chicken. So with chicken, here's the thing. I tried forever to get chicken right on my offset smoker, and I just could not get it to taste the way I wanted it to taste. So I finally saw a great deal on one of those Kamado smokers, which is it's like the big green egg, basically.
Oh,
If you
okay.
heard of yeah, but I got the knockoff version because it was like $750 cheaper, but it does the same thing. And I put my chicken on that. Oh my God, it cooks perfect. I make the best chicken. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to have for dinner tonight.
It's funny. I was going to ask you about chicken because we talked about beef. I want to talk to you about chicken because I'll tell you the best way that we found to cook chickens in the air fryer. It's the same principle,
Hmm.
and it comes out.
Do you like to do it like breaded and fried like that?
No, we just take like a chicken thigh, just put a little bit of oil on it and just some seasoning, whatever we feel like putting on there. And then it crisps up so beautifully, but the inside is still so like
Hmm.
moist and juicy and it just cooks perfectly. I never wanted the air fryer. And the guys who are regulars here know this. I never wanted it. My husband wanted an air fryer for years. So I'm like, no, we can put it in the closet with the slow cooker and the Instapot and the pasta maker and the wok and all these other trendy things. We're not getting no. Not doing it. I'm getting rid of stuff. I'm not accumulating more stuff. No, no, no. And we went to our friend's house. The people who live behind us have a place in Florida. We went down there, and she's a phenomenal Italian cook, phenomenal. And she brought out her $30 Drew Barrymore air fryer, and she made salmon, and she made chicken wings, and she made this, and she made that, and everything was fantastic.
Hmm.
And so I looked at my husband like, okay, you can have an air fryer. So we got the air fryer and we started experimenting. And I find that's the best way to cook chicken. When every time we grilled it, it always would come out dry. So we were not, you don't
That's
understand.
you got to
Every
get because you have to get a meat thermometer, and you check
has a
you
meat
check your
thermometer.
internal temperature constantly. So if I'm cooking chicken on the grill, or even on my Kamado grill, I've, I I kind of have it timed out into my head as far as I know when I need to turn it over and everything, and then I wait another certain amount of time, and then I check my temperature, and once it gets between 160 and 165, then you pull them, and it'll be moist and juicy and perfect. Anything over
Yeah.
that is definitely going to dry out.
Yeah, we have a tendency to do that. Stag yelled at me and said, bite your tongue, woman. Smoked is the best, except for salads. Gregory wants to know, do you stuff the poultry when you use a smoker?
I don't. I never have done that. I've experimented a couple of different ways, like for example, using a cupcake tin and putting some butter in the bottom of it, and then seasoning my thighs with whatever, and then you put it in the tin and you smoke it that way. Then you can turn them part of the way through, and then once they reach temperature, the thing about that is it's like if you're like entering it in a competition or something like that, it looks really good. So it's a good presentation. But the thing that I haven't perfected on, this is another reason chicken on my smoker I haven't gotten right yet, is you want to bite through skin. And I've yet to achieve the bite through skin, and I know how to do it, but it's so time consuming because you basically got to rub, scratch all the fat from the bottom of the skin, put the skin back on, and then let it cook that way, and then it won't be rubbery. But so I haven't had time necessarily to do that.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's
okay. That's
one of the
good to
little
know.
tricks. Um,
Um, Sal wants to know what meats should not be barbecued.
mm,
Is there a meat that should not be barbecued? Maybe that's the question.
no, I don't think there is. I've done the more exotic things that I've done is I've done lamb, um, little
Oh,
lamb chops, and you can do the whole rack on there and let it sit longer, but you're going to pull that off really quick. You want that between with an internal temperature of like 135, 140, because otherwise that's going to dry out really fast. I've also done duck.
okay.
Um,
That sounds good.
yeah, but the way I would do the duck, I mean, you would get a little bit of duck flavored into. I would buy a big jalapeno uh, or a poblano pepper, and then put some cheddar cheese on top of that, and then you put the
Ooh.
duck on top of that, and then you wrap in bacon and you cook it that way. I've done duck breast. I want another shot at that. These were wild duck, by the way. These were somebody shot them and brought them to my house legally. It
Wow.
was all legal. It was duck hunting. They didn't go to the pond and shoot them and bring them back here. um, but I didn't. I wasn't happy with those at all. But I think I know how I want to do those now. So I'll have to. I want to experiment with that a little more. But honestly, I can't. I would put anything on a smoker. I would.
Yeah.
Um,
So I want to ask you also, instead of putting anything, have you ever done fish? Because I live at the Jersey Shore. A lot of people have boats. We're constantly getting fresh fish, which is wonderful. But what I wind up doing is we put it in tin foil and put, roasted red peppers or whatever in there with it, and then cook it that way, or whatever spices, seasonings, however we're going to do it. Cook it in tinfoil. We've never cooked it directly on the grill. I would think smoked is wonderful, but we've
Smoked is
never cooked it directly
fantastic.
on the grill that way. Yeah.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, John Kirpin, who lives not too far from here, and I should say my friend Marty Glenn too. So they're both claiming that they invented this recipe, that it's their recipe. So I'll let them fight that out. But whatever it is, it's really fantastic. Um, I have yet to cook that yet, but the way they cook it, it's got such a wonderful flavor, and they add a little brown sugar on the top of it.
Ooh.
And they know just when to take it off. So it's very tender, and it's like the type of thing that you can take and put on a cracker with, cheese or whatever. It tastes
Okay.
absolutely delicious. Yes.
So it's
But
kind of like what we have here. It's kind of like a Jewish whitefish,
yeah, I guess kind of.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. Porch View says this is so much fun to listen to. Scott wanted to talk about barbecuing pizza. He said apparently you can barbecue pizza.
On the Kamado, I heard about people doing it all the time, and sure enough, I just went to the store and got one of those cheap frozen pizzas. Oh my God, it was one of the best things I ever had in my life. They're fantastic. Especially, because when you're using the Kamado grill, what you're using is lump charcoal. So lump hardwood charcoal is basically kind of previously burned wood is basically
Right.
all it is, right? So you fire that up, and then what I will do is I will take little chunks of apple wood and put it in there. So you get that apple wood smoke flavor. And this is what I think makes my chicken taste good, as well as the freaking pizza. The pizza's awesome. Yes, absolutely. The Kamado grill is a game changer. It's wonderful. And
All right, I'm writing this down. Although I can just go back and watch the I'm sure my husband's writing it down too. Kamado grill. All right, because we do have a Weber that survived Sandy, by the way. It
what
had
kind of
got
Weber?
water.
What kind
I
of
don't know.
Weber is it?
Ours is
Gas
old.
grill?
Yeah, it's gas. It's a propane. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gas. So it's
they're the
got
best. They're
tires.
fantastic.
Yep, and like I said, survived Sandy, so it's a good
Yeah,
grill. Yeah. Thank you, Hermit. Thank you, Star Driver. Appreciate you guys. Stag says, I have salmon smoking right now. Needs another 40 minutes or so. That sounds great.
nice. I got to tell you, was it Stag? You got the advantage on me,
Yeah.
brother, because I don't. I still have yet to give that a shot. I leave my buddies to make that because they're really good at it. So um, that's on them. But I'm gonna try it one day. I need to probably start introducing some more omega 3s into my diet. I think probably.
Got a lot of meat in there, a lot of
Yeah.
protein there. My brother actually cooks salmon in the dishwasher. You wrap it a couple times in
Oh
tin
my God.
foil and you run it on a certain cycle and it steams right up and it's really good. Just
So
saying.
what I would get instead of the dishwasher to do that is, have you ever tried anything sous vide?
I have not. I've seen it on all these. It's another gadget we don't need. I don't need another gadget.
I
No,
have all
no,
the
no.
gadgets. I have all the
No
gadgets.
gadgets, no more. I
So
will
that's
tell you,
great. And basically, what you do is you put it in a vacuum sealed bag,
right?
um, and you suck all the air out of it, and you put it's not boiling the water. You put it in this tub, and you have your sous vide, I guess, heater, for lack of a better word, and it will heat it just to that temperature. So if I wanted it
Temperature. Right.
129 degrees, it'll cook it at 129 degrees, and it won't get hotter than that. And then when you take it out of the bag, and you get a really hot sear, like 550 degrees on a cast iron skillet, and then it's like a minute on each side to sear it, and then you have the perfectly cooked steaks or pork chops, or whatever. You can probably do fish the same way, actually.
So you talk about turkey. We make a turkey breast for Thanksgiving in our Ronco rotisserie. And I have to tell you, that thing has got, I don't know how old is that, what, 25 years old, right? That thing makes the best turkey breast. It does a great turkey breast. It really does a good job. So it is one of the gadgets that we do have that I do enjoy. I do like that one. Mango Mush says that they have apple wood and hickory growing wild in the Poconos. They just get it.
Man, I would love see if I live by you. That's the problem around here is I don't have enough place. If I lived in Central Texas, I'd be up to my rear end in post oak that I could bring home. But around here, it's just hard to get it. We're so the DFW area is so spread out.
Yeah.
Most of it's like even the suburbs or city now, so it's like you have to keep
Yeah.
going further and further out to get wood. And I don't have a great place to get seasoned wood. And I would love that. Hickory and apple is a perfect combination. That's actually what I
Yeah.
smoked, that braided pork loin. And I also did a beef tenderloin that day too. And they both
See, you cook
came
so
out.
much food.
I
Um,
know. Well, we were having a party that night.
okay. I want to come to a party at your house. Um, you have a lot of mesquite in Texas, though, right?
We do, yes. And mesquite, that's actually what I started cooking with. And it's fine. It's great. It gives a great flavor. The thing with mesquite, though, is it's real temperamental. So either it has a hard time getting started to keep your fire going, or it's too harsh. And sometimes it makes your meat taste bad if you get a harsh smoke. Like, for example, say your fire gets too low and then you add another couple of logs on there and then it has to smoke up before a flame picks back up. Some of that smoke can be just really bad and rancid, and that you don't want that taste on your meat. So
No.
I went because most of the best places in Texas are in the Austin, Central Texas area, and they basically all use post oak. And I've sampled just about all of them, and it's some of the most outstanding barbecue I've ever had in my life. So I'm like, you know what? If they're doing it, why not me? I might as
Yeah,
well.
no, that's great.
A lot of people like pecan too because pecan is a great wood. It's a little too light for me. I don't think it gives enough flavor. And I think if you used it on chicken and combine that with like applewood or something like that, that would be a good meat for maybe poultry or a good wood for poultry or whatever. But for your bolder meats, I'd go with a bolder wood.
Yeah, I also well, there's a couple we're getting I try to keep it to an hour and we're coming up on that. Sal wants to see your t-shirt again. Can you please show your t-shirt again? Make brisket $1.97 a pound again. I
I
just
think we
love
can
that.
all agree on that.
Yes. Stag says, oh, you're not going to like this. Stag says, get a smoke tube and a small bag of pellets for your gas grills. Didn't you just talk about pellets? No pellets.
No, I know what he's saying. I know exactly what he's saying. And I sometimes will do this, but I have a little triangular, I don't know whatever you would call it, bucket that kind of fits into my heat deflectors on my gas grill, and you can fill that with wood chips. You just soak them for a while, and then you put the wood chips in there, and then eventually you're going to get smoke in your gas grill. It works great. The only problem is if you're doing a steak or chicken or everything, and you're cooking it at 350, it's only going to be there on 20 minutes or so. So you're not going to get the same type of smoke as you will through a regular smoker, but you're definitely going to get that flavor in there. It's absolutely. I
Yeah.
love that idea.
Yeah. Stag also says, get to know your tree trimmers.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Yeah. Sal says, you say you don't have seasoned wood available. Why not simply pour seasoning on the wood and then cook with it?
No,
Does
like
that
I
work?
said, a lot of people mistake when you say seasoned wood. It means like for example, myself. I'm a seasoned adult, which means I'm just old. That's what it means. A seasoned piece of wood just means it's an older piece of wood. It's had time to let go a lot of the moisture out of it, but not all of it. That's why a lot of the wood that they sell in your local, like if you wherever you get it at Sam's, Walmart, or Academy, or I don't know what stores are by you where you can get wood, but if it's you know prepackaged wood that they sell you, it'll say on the thing kiln dried. Well,
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can cook with it, but yeah, they kind of took a lot of flavor out of that when you dry it in a kiln. That means there's no moisture content in it really whatsoever, and that kind of defeats what you're trying to do. Is you want to season wood.
But didn't you say the best wood was 6 months to a year old
Yeah,
because it has
that's seasoned, right?
that's
That's what I
seasoned?
mean. That's what I mean by seasoned. Yes,
Oh, I'm thinking of like,
meaning you're
you
not
know,
gonna.
like
What I mean is you're not gonna cut it down and you're not going to cut it up and then you're going to use that right away because it's going to be that's what they refer to as green wood. You're not going to use green wood because it's got too much moisture. It's going to have a hard time flaming up and it's going to provide too much of a smoke taste that you possibly don't want.
gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Don't forget, please, like, thumbs up. Please like the videos. We appreciate it. Thank you to the Wendy Bell Army over on Rumble. You guys are fantastic. Thank you. I do appreciate the support. And you can follow Jim JJ Verdi, and it's an amazing follow, and you will realize how inadequate your cooking skills are
No,
because this is
no.
exactly no. Stag says seasoned means below 15% moisture content by law in most states.
Okay, that's good to know.
All
Yeah, I
right.
wasn't aware of that.
Wasn't aware of that. Okay, two quick questions. Have you ever tried to grill shrimp? We've tried it and it's
Yes,
terrible.
I do it all the time. Yes, and it doesn't take
How?
very
How?
long at all.
What is the magic secret? I put it in marinade, to try to get some flavor into it. Put it on the skewers.
Mhm.
Put it on there, and they come out overcooked.
It only takes like 3 minutes. That's all
3 minutes.
it
Okay.
takes.
Oh, okay.
You
All right.
you or if you want to be fair, 4 minutes, 2 minutes on each side, and then you're done.
Okay.
It's like it just doesn't take that long. That one, my
Is
wife said that the first few times I did it, she's like, "Are you sure it's done?" I'm like, "It's done. Trust me."
all right. Is it Komodo like the dragon, the grill? That was a
I think
question.
it's KAMODO or it's KAMADO. It's one of the two. But
Okay.
they're different versions of it. Like I don't know, we have Academy by us, and at the Academy, the one that I have is called Vision Grill, but it's the same thing as an egg. If I was doing this thing on the phone, I would take you outside and show you all the stuff, but I can't.
Oh, that would have been fun. We
I
could have
might
had
be
a
able to.
tour.
Wait,
That would have been great.
this might work. Hold on. Let me see if I can make
Yes,
this
let's go
work.
on a tour.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I don't know if I can turn the camera around, but all right, we'll do this.
Oh,
So
this is so exciting.
uh, this right here, and this is what I cooked my chicken on last night. This is the Kamado grill. Well, there we go.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay.
That's that right there. All right. So I got that, and then this is the side of the house. Here's
The boat.
the Weber. That's the good one. And then this is my offset. I've got it covered because you always got to take care of your pride and joy right here. But that's my offset
Gotcha.
grill. It is an Oklahoma Joe's. And then this one
The
right
boat.
here is a just recent purchase. Is a barrel smoker that I just picked up
My God.
as well. So I've got that. And actually, this is also a Weber product. So
Okay.
and I just
So the
started
off
using that this past Thanksgiving.
so the offset is really a smoker, not a grill.
Yes, I might as well. I might as well, since we're doing the tour, I should open it for you. Let you see what I
Oh, you
got
don't
here.
have to do that. You don't have to do that. That's fine.
Not for you, Mary. So here, let me.
Don't worry
Uh,
about it. That's fine. That's fine. You don't have to do that. I feel terribly you're doing that.
all right. Well, anyway, so my
Very nice.
and then you got your firebox on the side. So
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Awesome.
So that's the big boy that I learned how to smoke on, and that's learning how to do it, and then I've actually entered some competitions, and the best I've done was I placed second in brisket out of 50 teams at a big
Wow.
contest. So that was a lot of fun. But
Well, that
so
was
there
going to
you
be my
go.
final question. That was my final question. If you started doing competitions.
Yes, I have. I've got one coming up in October, by the way. So if you want to do, if you're in Flower Mound, Texas, in October, there is the Whiskey and Smoke Fest. So I'll be participating in that with some buddies of mine. It's not my smoker. He's got a big travel one. I want one of those, but
Oh my
that's what
gosh.
we're gonna do.
Jim, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for
No, I
joining me.
love
Please.
talking about that. When you said that, I was like, yes, let's talk about this. I loved it. So thank
Yeah,
you for inviting me.
fantastic. Yeah, and everybody, if you want to see the finished product, which is what hooked me, and this is why I had to have Jim come on, you got to follow him, JJ Verdi, on X, and he posts everything, and it's just mind-boggling. And I'm sure if you reach out to him, he'll answer your questions. I'm sure. And
Absolutely. Happy to.
here, Rebecca says you can tell the men from the boys by the price of their toys.
That's funny.
Please tell my old friend Vince that I said hello.
I will absolutely do that. You got it.
Next time you can come on and we'll tell Vince stories. You know what you need to start? You need to start on Fridays was donut day for the morning
Donut
show.
day.
We did donut day for the morning show on Fridays. And
Nice.
everybody took a turn bringing in donuts, but most people didn't remember. I would remember, but most people didn't remember. But every now and then we did, or everybody, like three people would bring in donuts instead of just one. So it was
That's
feast or
funny.
famine. So, thank you so much, Jim. I really appreciate you. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Thanks. Bye bye. All right, everybody. Just a programming note. First of all, thank you again so much for joining me. Please thumbs up. Please like the videos. Please tell your friends. Thank you so much to everybody over on Rumble trying to get it going. I know I've only done a couple of shows over there, but the Wendy Bell Army has been fantastic. Thank you for all the follows, all the subscriptions. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Tomorrow morning, 6:30 and 7. Oof. I will be on Newsmax TV on Good Morning. What is it? Wake Up America. I'll be on that at 6:30 and at 7 tomorrow. And then on Saturday at 2 o'clock, I'll be on Newsmax TV as well. And then on Friday, I will be in for David Webb on the David Webb Show on Sirius Patriot Channel. So Newsmax tomorrow at 6:30 and 7, Saturday at 2, and then Friday in for David Webb from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time on Sirius Patriot Channel. Then all next week, I'm in for Rob Carson on Newsmax Radio with the flagship station being WCBM out of Baltimore. That is noon until 3. And then the following week, I'm in for Wendy Bell. Yay! So excited about that. So I post it all the time. I post my schedule everywhere. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for following me. Have a fantastic week. And God bless. Thank you so much.